Hello, in this video we will talk about Unit 3, Activity 4, and this is our last activity of Unit 3. And it's a pretty straightforward activity. There's not a lot of reading to it. You're just going to complete 2 final assignments in order to finish the unit. And so right at the top it'll tell you in this activity you'll finish the unit by editing and revising one of your 2 news report drafts and resubmit it as your polished news report. This is the most important and biggest assignment of Unit 3. And then you'll also complete a portfolio entry, and this should be portfolio entry number 5. And so to start with, just a reminder about reviewing your feedback. So you definitely want to look at the feedback that I've given you on your drafts, and try to take a look at what your strengths are and what you can improve. And certainly, if you have any final questions about your news report, by all means, send me an email, or we can do a Google Meet, or I can talk with you in class. But make sure that you fully understand the feedback that I've been giving you before you try to do the polished news report. With that said, if we move on to the polished news report, just a little kind of explanation of terminology here. You've probably heard me say the words editing and revising in my feedback to you and in other videos that I've done this semester. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that editing and revising are actually 2 different things. So when we say that you're going to edit and revise your draft, what do we mean? Well, editing means that you're correcting your spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Whereas revising means that you're trying to improve your word choices, your paragraph structure, your organization. You're trying to make sure that your ideas are being presented clearly and that your language use is strong. So when we talk about polishing something, so we're talking in this case about polishing a news report draft, we're saying that you're combining editing and revising. So you're both looking at your spelling, your grammar, and your punctuation. And then you're also looking at how you can improve your word choices and how you can improve the organization of your piece. Okay. As we've said, you're going to choose one of your news report drafts and you're going to polish it, and you're going to look at your feedback from me before you begin the polishing process. Another reminder here about what you're going to include, regardless of which news report draft you choose. And you can choose the one that's about the new park in Windsor, or you can choose the one about the zoo animals escaping from the Detroit Zoo. Whichever one you choose, you're still going to have the same requirements and the same parts. You're still going to have a headline, a photo and a caption, a byline, a dateline. You're going to have a lead paragraph where you establish your 5 W's and H. You're going to write in third person. The only time that I should see the word I or any first-person pronouns is if it's in a quotation. You're going to use facts to provide additional information. You're going to include at least 2 quotations from people that are related to the event that you're writing your news report on. This is something I want to emphasize. Make sure that you're writing multiple short paragraphs. In a news report, sometimes a paragraph is only 1 sentence. Usually it's a maximum of 2 or 3 sentences. What I've noticed when I've been looking at drafts is that students sometimes are writing 1 big paragraph as their news report. You've got to break that up. You've got to, as we'll say here, you've got to organize your paragraphs from most important to least important in terms of the information you're presenting, and you need to have small paragraphs. If you look at any news report in the Windsor Star or any newspaper, that's how a news report is broken up. Okay. Once you've gone through and made sure you've got all the requirements and polished up your draft, you can of course submit it as always to the Dropbox. When you click inside the Dropbox, you'll see the rubric for how I'm going to grade your polished news report. If you have any questions about the grading or about your particular polished news report, please let me know. That is our first and major assignment in this activity. There is a second assignment that I want to make sure you don't miss. It's right below the news report. I'm going to ask you to do portfolio entry number 5. And I'm going to have to change this title here. It's not news sources. So ignore this right here. By the time you read the activity, this will have changed. That was our last portfolio entry title. But throughout the semester, you have already been completing portfolio entries, and you should have 4 already. And for the 5th one, what I'm going to ask you to do is it says the news articles, images, and videos in Unit 3 focused on climate change. I'd like you to fully explain what you learned about climate change in this unit. Include specific examples from the material in this unit. So if you've noticed, every single activity in this unit has presented to you news articles, images, videos, and almost all of them have in one way or another related to the idea of climate change. So that has kind of been our theme for this unit. So what I'd like you to do in this portfolio entry is to explain to me what you've learned about climate change and to use examples from the material in this unit to back yourself up. As with all of our portfolio entries, you're using your own words and ideas. I don't want you to research climate change on websites outside of our course website. The purpose of this is not to show me that you can go and find information about climate change someplace else. The purpose of this portfolio entry is to show me that you learned something from this particular unit on this particular website, and that you can use examples from this unit to support yourself. Okay? As with all of our portfolio entries, you should write a minimum of 8 sentences. And as always, I remind you, you're not submitting your portfolio entry right now. You're going to save it. Hopefully you have one document, whether it's a Microsoft Word document, whether it's a Google Doc. Hopefully you have one document with all of your portfolio entries saved in it. So you should already have portfolio 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll just add this one to it. And then at the ending of the course in Unit 5, you'll hand in all of your portfolio entries to me. Again, any questions about either of the assignments that we're doing here to wrap up Unit 3, please let me know.